Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Love Your Body, Love Your Life. My name is Jenna. I'm the host of the podcast. I'm also the author of the book titled Love Your Body, Love Your Life, 52 Tips That Will Radically Change Your Health. You can find my book on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com. And I am just going to preface the show that if you're watching this live, I really apologize for the delay in the video. I have not been live, you guys, in 2-3 weeks or something because of this reason. And I literally just got my modem, my brand new modem, sent to me like 10 minutes before going live today. So if for whatever reason I freeze, we're probably just going to cut the show. But if it just continues on with this little delay, then please just continue to listen on audio because I will continue to talk, although you won't be able to see me. So with that all said, welcome to the show, you guys. I'm happy to be back live. I do love doing the show live. It's just this little technical issue that I have to get over. And this kind of podcast is a little bit different because it's live and it's not pre-recorded. So we can't just pre-record this and then edit it or anything like that. So it's a little bit different of a platform, I guess, which I love. Gives me the, what do I want to say? Like, I'm always very on my toes to do the show live because there is no editing here. So, so today's topic is just a summertime catch up with me. I've been doing the show solo by myself more than ever this year. Since I started the podcast back in 2019, I've been doing more solo episodes. So it's a summertime catch up. And also I want to get into the topic of trusting the unknown. And today I'm going to open up and be a little bit more vulnerable than I've ever been on the show. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about my personal life in terms of that topic of trusting the unknown. So we'll get into that in a bit. But in terms of summertime so far, it's been interesting. It's been fun, and it's been I'd say, what do I want to say? Well, I feel like we really do have the power to create our own reality and our own destiny, right? So what I have decided to do is to place myself back into the music studio and record another original song and one more cover song, which I'm super duper excited about. I'm calling it my little summer project. And I'm just happy about it, you guys. I love singing and I love recording music. I mean, I love singing in my house. I have a microphone. I have a little setup. I have a piano. I have some guitars. I have my own little music room that I can just sing my heart out in. So it's definitely different when I'm in the music studio and I'm actually working on a project, but I feel like it, makes me a better singer and a better artist in general, because I have to really be present with the piece of art that I am creating. The piece that comes really simple to me is the writing of the lyrics. So I definitely would consider myself a poet / lyricist. That piece actually comes really easy to me. I'm definitely a writer. I just announced I'm an author of a book. And I just feel like I can get lost in in journaling my feelings, and I'm actually better at, I feel, expressing my feelings in written form because, well, number one, because I feel like nobody's going to read it. And I can just say whatever I want. And number two, because I feel like I can just use my imagination and just go wherever I want to go and just create this song, I guess, or this poem. And I kind of know what I'm talking about, and the reader will just interpret it however they want to read it, however they want to interpret it, or the person that is listening to my song. So that's kind of a little update for me, my little summer project. I've been doing a lot more coaching with women. I've announced on the show that I am definitely pivoting this year into more of women's coaching. It's basically a therapy session with energy work is the best way that I can describe it in layman's terms. And the theme, I guess, that's been coming up with women is a lot of inner child healing, which doesn't surprise me because that was kind of my big epiphany when I healed my inner child. I actually started writing more, and poems started to just kind of fall out of me more, and I found more of my true authentic voice. So it doesn't surprise me that I'm attracting women that need inner child healing, that have family dynamics that have been hard, um, and they want a different perspective on the family dynamics. And that's kind of one of my genius points, if I could be honest, is hearing somebody and knowing where their trauma lies and why it lies there, and how I can give them a totally different perspective on their own trauma and their own situations, so they're not caught in victimhood, okay? Because when we're caught in victimhood with our trauma, then we can't create. I just said, when I started the show, I do feel like we are definitely the creators of our own life. And when we're stuck in victimhood and trauma, we are not allowed to have that creativity flow through our body and our mind and be present to what wants to rise, like kind of like our intuition or our wisdom wants to rise, and we can't catch it if we're still caught in fight or flight, or our cortisol is high, or we're stuck in anger or jealousy or emotions that just don't serve us. They're heavier density emotions that actually can ground us if we work with the energies correctly. They can actually ground us into being more of who we are. And that's one of the things that I work with my clients on, is just taking those density, those higher density energies of the negativity, the sadness, the anger, the jealousies, all the heavy emotions that we don't want to feel. We have to feel them, you guys, and it helps us ground into more of the truth of who we are. So, yeah, so that's a little bit of an update with my coaching. And thank you for the questions. I definitely encourage questions at any point. I will stop and answer questions. So we did have one question come in. Hadley asks, how do we remain in control? Okay, so I feel like your question, Hadley, I mean, it's really broad because I don't have context around what you mean by in control. But as far as your emotional, like if you're coming up against like outbursts that you don't like in yourself, or like anger outbursts, or like you don't want to say something that you don't mean. I would say the easiest way to remain in control is, first of all, you have to learn how to remain in your body. So I'll say that again. We have to, oh, okay. So Hadley is now saying, how do we remain in control of our life is going when so much happens beyond our control. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about that. Because you are 100% absolutely right that we are not in control of our external world. We have zero control over anybody else. We have zero control over the world and what's happening. We have zero control over people in our household. We have zero control over traumas, over people that are meant to leave our lives, people that suddenly pass away. Whatever the case is, you're 100% right. We have no control over that. The only thing that we do have control over, Hadley, is our inner world, our inner dialogue, our innermost preciousness of ourselves. And this is the exact work that I teach. It's getting to know yourself on that deep level and anchoring into more, and I hesitate to use this word, but it's the truth. It's learning how to anchor more into your soulful self. The soul knows the truth. The soul is unaffected by external world. There is a softness and a groundedness and a silence and a centeredness to the inner being of who you are, which is your soul. And when you're connected to that inner being and you're well versed with her or him, and you're well connected and you have a relationship with that inner being of yourself, you can remain in control, in centeredness, I feel is the right word, and breathe with that entity of that, of who you are. It's almost a godlike presence, because that's the truth of who we are. We really are a collective of the universe. We're breath. We came in, we picked a body, and we really are breath. We really are soul. And when we're done, when we've lived our lives and our soul is ready to go beyond and do something else, we pass. And I know that's deep. It got deep, but that's the truth of how I want to answer that question. It's getting to know that soulful self and that part of you that really is centered and grounded and, like I said, very anchored in that truth. And that takes work. It takes a lot of work. And I'm not saying that when you do this work, you won't be triggered, because you will. You definitely will. You will come off of the channel, which is your central channel, the core of who you are, your body, your breath. You will come off that several times, but you will know, and you will have the tools to get back in your centered groundedness and feel in control of your body and your mind and your thoughts and the way you create your life. So I will get off the soapbox. I hope that answers your question, Hadley. Thank you so much for the question. But I will just say, just start with breath work. It really does. It really anchors you. It really centers you. Start with meditation. Start with getting silent, groundedness. Journaling helps. Again, you can go to my website at jennalobos.com. I have journaling prompts for free on my website. If you guys want to check that out, you can also, um, you know, contact me and we can have a call and go further on that. And I can help you personally. Okay, so Lance asked, how can we realize we are off course and how can we get back on track? If you're asking this question, Lance, I feel like you know. You know in your gut when you're off track. You can feel it in your gut, you can feel it in your body. You have anxiety, you have headaches, you have stomach aches. Your body really communicates with you guys all the time. Um, and how you get back on track is different for everybody. Hadley asked, I feel, a deeper question. I don't really have, again, the context, Lance, but maybe just, meditate on your ideas, write them down, work with a coach, talk to somebody. I don't know how you feel like you want to get back on track. Is this about a job? Is it about, something else? But if you're asking this question, I feel like you do know that you're off track and you need to pivot and get back onto something that just feels good. Whatever makes you feel good, just follow that North Star. So, yeah, I love the questions, you guys. Keep them coming. I'm sorry for the delay if you're watching the video, but hopefully you are listening to the audio and you're getting something from this. I'm going to take a drink of water. Give me a quick second. I want to keep myself hydrated here. This is warm lemon and water. It's so good. So yeah, I love the questions. So let's get back on to, let's see. I talked about my coaching. Yeah, so summer's going well so far. I know it just started, but there are just a couple things that I wanted to catch you up on. And I feel like the topic of trusting the unknown will help Hadley and Lance with their questions too. So I'm going to get into that topic now, which is trusting the unknown. And I'm going to share a personal story, and it's going to relate to this topic. So, okay. So 6 years ago, you guys, I left a very significant relationship, romantic relationship. I was with this person for 14 years. And I was completely in love with this person. And for reasons that I will have discernment on, I won't disclose the reasons why I had to leave the relationship. But I knew, just like how Lance asked, how do you know when you're off course? I knew I was off course with this relationship. And as much as it hurt me, I needed to leave the relationship. So, so I did, and this was 6 years ago. And throughout the 6 years, this particular person came back in my life, has been actually weaving in and out of my life, even though I went on and I dated other people. This person weaved in and out of my life. And about a year ago, I tried to rekindle this relationship with this certain person. And he wasn't honest. I felt, was still playing games. And he was taking, you know, my care and my love for him still for granted. And I feel like he was acting out of emotions that he needs to take care of, right? And so I tried a year ago and I knew that that wasn't going to work. So I let it go. And then he continued to kind of weave in and out of my life. And I will take responsibility for allowing him to weave in and out of my life, right? Like I didn't like shut it off completely. I think that I was still just maybe hopeful or still just didn't want to cut the tie, you know? So recently, very recently, I put down and so I will say that I felt also that maybe we could be friends, quote unquote. Okay. But very recently, I just realized that it's just not going to work. Like it's the friendship hope, the hope of the friendship is just not, it's not there right now. Okay. So I put down a very, like, a boundary that I haven't done in the whole 6 years. And which is like, I just haven't responded. And so now I've set this, I've done this boundary that I have not done before in the 6 years. And I feel like since then, there's been some kind of like cuckoo behavior from this person. So, and I will give you context around that. So, yesterday, I am I am in a local like shopping like strip mall or whatever. There is a nail place in there, there's a hair place in there, there's a yoga studio in there in this strip mall. And I'm in there because I had some errands to do, and one of the errands was I was gonna go get my water, my distilled water filled up. I get these like glass jars and I get this this water filled up at this juice bar, and I'm in the juice bar with all my bottles of water, and they're heavy, right? They're like glass and they're heavy when the water is filled up. So I'm in the juice bar. I'm the only one in there. It's getting ready for closing around 5:30-ish, 6 o'clock. And I'm normally, you guys, like really hyper vigilant when I'm out and about in the world. And, talking about inner child healing, that's definitely from my childhood, right? I'm like always watching my back. I'm hyper vigilant. I just am. I'm just naturally always like watching out to see who's behind me, who's like it's just a natural thing that I do. Always watching my back. No matter if I'm with somebody or not. I'm just really aware of my surroundings. So I'm in the juice bar, I'm getting my water, and I notice from the corner of my eye that this person is across the like way of the parking lot in his car. No, and I knew right away that he had seen my car in the parking lot. Okay. And I was like, oh my goodness. He noticed my car and now he's going to hang out and wait until I go to my car. And then he's going to either come up to me or, obviously drive up to my car or whatever. And mind you, I'm trying not to have any communication with him. There's nothing else to talk about, right? I've said my piece. I feel like there's, care there in this relationship, but it's like I need to move on. Like we need to like really allow each other to move on and heal our hearts. Like let's do this. So anyways, and I'll get to your questions, you guys, I promise. So let me just finish my story and then I'll get to your questions. So anyway, so I leave the juice bar with my waters, and I'm already like anxious inside because I'm like, okay, what the F am I going to do? Right. I have to leave the parking lot. I don't want to run into him. So what am I going to do? So I get in my car, put my waters in my car, get in my car, and I'm looking at the rearview mirror, and he's literally because he had parked his car and was waiting for me to leave the juice bar. And now he sees me in my car. So he turned on his car, getting ready to drive. So I'm looking at him from the rearview mirror, and I can see he's just literally idled there waiting for me to pull out. So to go home, which he knows where I live, okay? So to go home, I would have backed up my car and made a left. And he would have literally come right there. His plan was just to come right there and just see me. And so what I did, and I was laughing, obviously, I was giggling to myself. I, yeah, I know it is stalker behavior. So I literally, what I did was I backed up my car, and instead of going left, I went right. And like, I have to giggle, you guys, because I'm like, inside, I'm like, like I had anxiety, like, that feeling, like the fight or flight, it came back. So I'm like, have anxiety. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a right to throw him off. So I made a right, and I'm going around like this other back, like, way. I still have to go out a certain way, right? So I still have to drive back by his car, but I needed to throw him off a little bit. So I went and I parked like in this corner area for a little bit. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I put my headset on, like I was on the phone, my iPods or whatever. Like I was going to pretend I was on the phone. So I did, and I had my sunglasses on, and I just thought, okay, I got to get home. And I drove, and he was waiting there, like in his car. And I just drove. I didn't look. I had my glasses on. I just didn't even look to the left where he was. I drove straight, and, obviously made it out of the parking lot. I make a left to go on the main street to go home. And I mean, the behavior, you guys, I mean, come on. He booked it, made a U-turn, went on the other side of the street in order for me to kind of see him as I'm going straight to go home, and he's kind of coming this way. I mean, like, what is that, right? Like, okay, so my point, right? What is my point in all of this? Well, I have two. One is I will never understand really why men can behave a certain way in the relationship. When you're in a relationship with a man who knows they have a good thing in front of them, or vice versa. I mean, I'm sure women do this same behavior too, but obviously I'm a female, so I need to talk from my perspective. I will never understand why a man sees what they have in front of him and can act a certain way when they're in the relationship, meaning they can disrespect you, they can treat you with bad behavior, they can act cocky, and then when you are fed up with it, they can say, I'm sorry, blah, 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 whatever it is. That's my first point. I will never understand this. And mind you guys, this is 6 years later. 6 years later after the relationship ended. I can see this behavior happening when we first ended it, or when I first ended it. I kind of see this kind of behavior then. But he actually went the opposite way. If I got into that, you guys would be like floored, okay, about what he did when we first ended the relationship. Obviously, I went through all the grief emotions. I was sad, I was angry, I was devastated. I went through all those emotions in the beginning. Thank God, because now 6 years later, I feel stronger, you know? This last boundary was kind of like my last straw, I guess, and I will definitely attribute that to my healing work on my own self. You know, like what I do for my own healing, my inner child healing, my trauma, I will attribute that last boundary to that. So, anyways, my point is, you guys, I don't get that as far as men are concerned, why they can act one way and then come back and just apologize and expect for the women to be like, oh, okay, well, okay, we'll just, we'll just pat you on the back. Don't do that again, okay? It's fine. Oh, I'll just I'll accept the bad behavior. Like, what the F? Like, really? They expect for us to just be like excusing that and just like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. Like, they just feel like our hearts are just this thing that they can crush. Like, no, thank you. Okay. Anyways, I'll get off of that. The other thing that I really want to talk about, though, is trusting the unknown. Because if I'm honest, I get scared. I get scared I'm not going to meet anybody like we had that connection. I get scared that I might not meet somebody that I feel at home with. I get scared that I'm just not going to ever have this kind of love, this love that I had for this person in my life. And what's interesting, and I feel like we get tested a lot, is yesterday while I was out doing all these errands, I was getting really nostalgic and I was sad. And I was like, where are these feelings coming from? Like, I haven't felt like this in a long time. And when I'm sad, I allow myself to be sad. I cry, I'm in the car by myself. So I let it come down, because if I don't, then it'll just fester and it's worse. So I get sad, you guys. I get scared. I get all these things. But at the end of the day, what I want to say is that I am more in trust of the unknown than I've ever been. Because here is what I know for sure. And this is what I want to encourage you guys to do. If you're in a relationship, or if you're in a job, or if you're in just a situation where the unknown is needed, but you know that the unknown is more truthful to you in your heart than the familiar is, like a familiar relationship or a familiar job, or just a familiarity of where you know in your heart and gut it doesn't feel right anymore, and the unknown is more truthful, it's scarier, but it's the truth, then I wholeheartedly encourage you to trust that truth. Because here's what happens when we are in something that is not our truth. Our body is there, but our mind is not. So I'll give you an example. If I were to go back to this familiarity in this relationship, because let's face it, I was with him for 14 years. It's familiar, it's comfortable. But will I ever trust it? Will my mind really be present with trusting this person after all this behavior that I've seen? The answer is no. So I could be there physically, but my mind would never be there. My mind would never be able to relax. So that is a disconnect. And that's the thing that I really want to talk to you guys about and just encourage you, is we never want our body and our mind to be disconnected. And that's with anything. That's with a job. That's with a relationship. That's even with exercise, you guys. You know, like, you know how, like, you're exercising and, like, your mind's somewhere else, or you're, like you put on this loud music because you just wanna get through the exercise? I can tell you right now that if you were just present with your body for less time, for 10, 15 minutes, you would get more out of that exercise than you would 2 hours. Because just again, Hadley's question and the way I answered it, your body wants you to be present with it. It wants you to just be in love with your soul and your internal self. And when we are connected, mind, body, spirit, we're whole. And again, that might sound cliche, but think of it in terms of this relationship that I'm talking about. It would be so unhealthy for me to be back there and in this situation where my mind would be always doubting it. My mind would be like, once the relationship got comfortable again, maybe not in the beginning because he would be on his best behavior, right? But once the relationship got comfortable again, my mind would probably start doubting it again, questioning it. Oh, what if he goes back to this behavior? It just wouldn't work. And that's what I know right now. And that's what I always go back to when I have these hard feelings come up. I get sad, I get scared, I get anxious. I think about that. It's really being truthful with who we are and our feelings and our gut and our mind and our heart. So, yeah, you guys, trust the unknown. Okay, so let's go to questions. Vi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Vi, remind people to drink water and stay hydrated always. Yes, yes, Vi, thank you. I do electrolytes. I do lemon and water. I drink warm water throughout the day. I like warm. You could do cold, and then if you don't have electrolytes, you can do salts in your water. Love that. Okay, Beck, is it bad to leave a relationship open-ended? Yeah. Okay, so Beck's question is it bad to leave a relationship open-ended for possible friendship? I don't know your personal situation. I just opened up and I shared with you my experience. I feel like this specific person for me, we could probably get to a friendship down the line. But right now, because we're both healing on some levels, obviously he's just now feeling the effects of our breakup, which was 6 years ago. So he's hurting and dealing with heartbreak on a different level than I am because I dealt with those emotions in the beginning. So right now I feel like we're not even like emotionally aligned to be friends, if that makes any sense, because he wants more. But I feel like down the line we could probably get there because I do feel like there is definitely care there on both of our sides. Like I care for him and he cares for me, like on a big picture, humanity in like I'm talking about like humanity, like I care for his person. I care for what happens to him. And I'm sure he cares for me and what happens to me. So to answer your question, Beck, I feel like it's a personal decision, but just make sure that you're both really truthful and honest with where you're at emotionally. Um, so Sel asked, are we talking stalker with his behavior? Yeah. I think I kind of chuckled in between my storytelling, Sel, that I mean, it felt like that yesterday. I mean, come on. He was literally waiting for me and I saw him from the juice bar like literally parked waiting for me. Like he put his hat on. I was like, oh my gosh, like thank God for my hypervigilance, right? That I noticed it, or else I would have been totally just surprised. So, okay, Neil, do you think he is trying to be a friend or is he looking to get back? Well, he's he said to me very I mean through a lot of messages that he wants the relationship back. So, I can assume right now that where he's at, he wants the relationship back. And if you listen to my whole story, I tried. I did try because, like I said, there was a lot of love there. But there was no change. And I feel like when I did try seriously about a year and a half ago now, that was kind of his window then to really profess what he's talking about now. So again, that's the timeline. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like I just won't understand that why men need and listen, I'm not discarding men. I really want you guys to any men that are listening, I am not at all putting down men. I think you guys are great. I think we don't as women give you enough credit. I think you're very intuitive and you're almost like you kind of almost know us better than we know you, if that makes any sense. I feel like men really study women and make they're slower to make big decisions as far as like a committed relationship, marriage, all of that. And so I feel like please don't feel like I am putting down men in any sort of any sense at all because I respect you guys and yeah. So, but in my case and what I have experienced, I've never had a relationship where, yeah, well, yeah, maybe in the beginning they treated me really, really good with respect and it was a good time. Obviously, there was a honeymoon stage, and then even after the honeymoon stage, there was still respect and love and care and good behavior. But in my case, I have not experienced a sustainability, I guess, in that. So I am trusting the unknown. So, what else, you guys? Is there any other questions? I feel like um, I really opened up here. Okay, Vi, actions speak louder than words. Absolutely, Vi. Yeah, they do. Absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing that we have to be careful as women and men. Women can talk too. I've met women that have those behaviors, manipulative behaviors, and I'm definitely not one of them. I don't know how people operate like that. I really don't. I don't know how they sleep at night. Um I just I've never been that person. So, yeah, thank you. Watching actions rather than words. Um and that's what I did, a year and a half ago. I saw his actions and again, I feel like I've been a little bit naive a little bit in relationships again because of my childhood and the way I was raised. Um so I tend to like give people the benefit of the doubt and I love love so much that I want to believe in it and I've gotten hurt. So does he listen? Dana called in or wrote in, said, does he listen to the show? Do you think he might get the hint and change his behavior knowing how you feel? I thought about that, Dana, when I was thinking about sharing the story. I thought he might be listening to the show. I don't know. But I'm talking my truth. I'm speaking my truth. And thank you for the content if you are listening to the show because it just tied right into what I was wanting to talk about today, which was trusting the unknown. And the second part of the question, do you think he might? Like I said, Dana, I feel like as much as I would want to believe that he would change, I think for me, again, I go down the line in my mind of when the relationship would get comfortable, and that's when I would probably become less trusting and less just feeling safe. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Feeling safe in the relationship. Because here's the thing. Right now, I think he thinks this is what I want. I want you back. I want the relationship back, blah blah. But again, like when we were in our 10-year relationship, when he got comfortable, things changed. So, but here's the thing. Let's say hypothetically, I gave him this whatever fifth effing chance, and down the line he got comfortable again. It's like he doesn't even know down the line how he's going to feel when he gets comfortable. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like he thinks he knows how he feels now, but he doesn't know how he's going to feel once he gets comfortable down the line. And that's where I go in my mind. Like, yeah, you know, and you think you know what you want now, but down the line when it's, hunky dory and I'm all in again, and you're feeling more safe, then is your ego going to need stroking out in the real world? You know what I'm saying, from other women? And I think that's where I go. So, you guys, I know romantic relationships can be challenging, but I think if you do have a good, respectful partner and partnership and open communication and honesty and a good foundation of friendship, I feel like it could be sustainable, I feel like it could. And a man, for instance, that has crossed the threshold to manhood and really want to love one woman is the key, right? Because, let's face it, men are brought up and, society teaches them to have multiple women, just like society teaches us as women to look a certain way, dress a certain way, speak a certain way, be submissive to the man, whatever it is. So yeah, hope this was helpful, you guys. Thank you for listening, and I love all the questions, and thank you for allowing me to be open and vulnerable today and share a little bit more about myself. I feel like I'm sharing a little bit more every time I go on live solo. So stay tuned for next week or the week after that when I have my modem fixed and this whole timing thing is on point again. In the meantime, trust the unknown, trust your gut, surround yourself with great relationships, and love your body and love your life. Take good care. Bye.